My name is Hanifa Najila Mutia, and my student number is 2413042032. In this video, I'm going to talk about root and their derivational affixes in English morphology. This topic is very important because it helps us understand how words are formed and how we can change their meanings and word class. So, let's start with the root. A root is the most basic part of a word. It carries the core meaning and can be broken down into smaller, meaningful parts. It serves as the foundation for forming new words by adding prefixes, which came before the root, or suffixes, which came after the root. For example, the root of happiness, unhappy, and happily is happy. The root of teacher, teaching, and teaches is teach. The root of runner, running, and runs is run. And the root of writer, writing, and writers is write. There are two types of roots. There is free roots and bound roots. First, free roots. These are roots that can stand alone as independent words without needing affixes. Example of free roots include help, which can become helpful, helpless, or helping. Act, which can become action, react, or active. Second, bound roots. Bound roots can stand alone. They must be combined with affixes to form complete words. These usually come from Latin or Greek. Examples of bound roots include jag, which means to throw in Latin, appears in reject, project, and eject. Struct, which means to build, appears in construct, destruct, and instruct. There are also roots based on their origin. The common origin are Latin and Greek. Examples of Latin roots are port, which means to carry, appears in transport, import, and export. Peace, which means to see, appears in vision, invisible, and television. Aud, which means to hear, appears in audio, audience, and auditory. Examples of Greek roots are tele, which means far, appears in telephone, television, and telegram. Graph, which means to write, appears in autograph, paragraph, and photograph. Chron, which means time, appears in chronology, synchronize, and anachronism. Let's continue with the function of root in word formation. There are three main functions: derivation, inflection, and compounding. The first is derivation. This is when you add affixes to a root word to make new words with different meanings. For example, happy became unhappy, happiness and happily. Act became react, interaction and inactive. Next is inflection. This happens when we change a word to show things like tense, number, or comparison. For example, teach became teaches and teaching. Big became bigger and biggest. The last one is compounding. This means combining two or more root words to create new word. For example, foot and ball became football, sun and light became sunlight. Now, let's move to derivational affixes. These are types of affixes in English that are used to form new words with different meanings from their base word or to change their word class. These affixes can be prefixes, which appear at the beginning of a word, or suffixes, which appear at the end. Prefixes and suffixes are added to root words to create new words or to change their word class. For example, from a verb to a noun, or from an adjective to an adverb. Derivational affixes have several important characteristics. The first is they change the base word's meaning. The second is they can change the word class. The third is they are not required for grammar, unlike inflectional affixes. The fourth is there are many of them in English. Lastly, a word can have more than one derivational affix. For example, unhappiness has the prefix on and the suffix. Now, let's look at the types of derivational affixes. In general, derivational affixes are divided into two categories: prefixes and suffixes. Prefixes appear at the beginning of a word. They usually change the meaning of the word, but not the word class. For example, un in unhappy, re in rewrite, and dis in disagree. Suffixes appear at the end of a word. They often change both the meaning and the word class. For example, ness in happiness change adjective happy into noun. Ly in happily change adjective happy into adverb. In teacher change verb teach into noun. So that's all for today about root and their personal affixes in English. Thank you for watching and see you next time.